Stubblefield, Mark Satterley, Rick Flynn.
Here.
Mike Burns, Jim Dozy.
Here.
Bob Mackey.
Here.
LaDonna Allen. Here. Roger Smith.
Here.
Will you all please stand and join me in our I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you pray with me? Gracious God, as we come to you this day to begin another session of the Carl Junction Board of Alderman, we ask that you impart upon us your wisdom and guidance so that we may promote justice, assist those in need, and provide for the overall well-being of the citizens of Carl Junction. In your most holy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Next is approval of the agenda. Are there any comments, corrections, or changes to the agenda?
Make a motion, we approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Roger Spencer, second by Rick Flynn to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 5 in the affirmative with 3 absent. Agenda is approved. Next is the consent agenda, which is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting and approval of disbursements. Are there comments, corrections, or anything, challenges on the consent agenda?
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Donna Allen, second by Roger Spencer to approve the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 5 in the affirmative, 3 absent. The consent agenda is also approved. Next is public forum. Anyone wishing to speak at public forum? I will read this statement then. All persons wishing to speak to the mayor and board of aldermen during the public comment portion of the meeting should come forward one at a time and stand at the podium, then state your name and address and the subject matter you wish to comment upon. All comments should be directed to the mayor in a civil manner. Comments are limited to 5 minutes unless the mayor or board of aldermen grants additional time. It is the mayor's responsibility to maintain these rules are followed and to maintain order and decorum. If you have a question, the mayor and board of aldermen may of course provide an immediate response. However, the mayor and board of aldermen may also provide no response or response at a later time as they deem appropriate. Now, who's ever ready to come up, running up here first?
Thomas Tucker, 209 Dallas Street. I came to my first meeting last meeting to learn procedure, and you guys went ahead and voted that meeting on something that I want to talk about. So I'm catching up here. I don't know if I'm out of order, but anyway. It has to do with the ball field and the splash pad.
Okay.
Okay. One, I think notifications needs to be improved so people know about things. I know you guys at the meeting said you did due diligence as far as what is required, but if you can go out and poll anybody just about in town, nobody knew about the splash pad or the change of the ball field. People want to keep the ball field. So we got to get better ways to get some information out. You voted on the splash pad in order to save $12,000 is my understanding. If we got the $12,000 in the big scheme of things here isn't that much money. We've got till 2024 to get the money, 2026 to spend the money. So I think we kind of are rushing through. A gentleman last meeting, you let him speak kind of out of order, and he brought that point up that things seem to be going really fast here. I'd like to see a complete cost proposal plan of the splash pad. I'm not against the splash pad, okay? I just have some questions and things that need to be addressed. Mrs. Allen, at the 19th meeting, if I remember correctly, she was talking about we're going to have to fence it. We're going to have to get somebody to be an attendant of the splash pad. There's going to be costs. $704,500 is coming from ARPA when they dole it out. And I also would like to know what narrative did we use to get the money under the title that we did. I think it was physical fitness. So I'd like to get that looked into. Is the block dome sufficient? That's there. If we, in fact, put it there, because it's just block, I think there's chlorine involved that will eat the block. Okay. The size is twice that of the web. And does it need to be? What is the costs that web is incurring? What is their attendance? I talked to, I think his name was Brian. I didn't get the figures yet, but he can tell me what it costs to run it. He can't tell me the attendance. So, we're kind of shooting in the dark. We're putting a lot of hope that this is going to be the big draw in Carl Junction, and I disagree with that. We had a chance to have a sportsplex. It was not talked about. It was not put out there. Most people went to vote. They see sportsplex and $3 or $4 million port. Of course they voted no. They didn't know what it was. We could have had sportsplex. This probably wouldn't be an issue. AFCO, they are the only ones that I've seen in any record that told us that this is going to be a major success, which that comes from the salesman. So, I mean, is that what we're banking this whole thing on? And the ball field is a people's ballpark. There's people out there playing tonight. There's a chief number 3 fire department chief out there playing tonight with his kids. My back window faces that, what do you guys call it, the 2 pergolas that you're going to retain. My back window faces 1. So that's what I see every day. And I'm not real excited about putting a big splash pad, thousands of people still playing, and lots of parking. Why can't we either put it down by the pool, incorporate some of that equipment, or if we have to, rearrange the playground and move the splash thing down closer to the playground, and that way when people picnic, which we put in a picnic table and stuff, they can picnic, they can playground, they can play ball. We don't have to lose something to gain something. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Good evening. I'm Charles Brown at 124 Hitch Drive, Carl Junction. Back in August, I had 2 of the council people from my ward come over and look at water problem that we're having and have had for several years. My yard's a swamp, backyard. I lose a lawnmower every time I try to mow it. Neighbors' yards are full of water. It looks like an ocean running down through there. And there's a drainage beside between the 2, at my house and one of the neighbor's house. When it rains, we get a lot of rain, that thing is just like a rushing river down through there. And we get people's trash, anything from guttering, rocks, bed springs, you name it, we get it all. And I've tried to get hold of you, sir, several times and never got an answer. And also, Mr. Lawler, ex-city manager, I left him a couple messages and never did get re-contact. They said they would look into it, see what they could get done with it, and get back with me. Well, that was back last August. I haven't heard nothing. So I had 2 people, I don't know who they were, they're surveyors or something, engineers or something, come through there one day shortly after August. They were looking at it, and I asked them what they're doing. I said, well, the city hadn't looked at it. And I said, okay, they're supposed to let me know. And he said, yes, they're supposed to let you know about that, let me know what's going on, or if anything can get done about it. All I'm asking fairness, I put up there with this for since 2008, maybe even before, this water problem. And from my house on to the south, behind the fences behind the houses, I think Mr. Garvey, somebody owns that property. And that's all grown up in weeds. It wasn't, when they put that drainage ditch in there, they just left it burned up there. The water runs right down through the neighbor's yard, right down through mine, right down through the next neighbor goes on out. And I just like to get something done about it. I'd like to be kept in the loop if there is a process going on, and I could help me out. You know, it's a health hazard. My wife, highly allergic to mold and stuff. We're getting a lot of the mold from the water, getting all kinds of snakes, getting mosquitoes. I mean, it's a health hazard. You know, and I think as a taxpaying citizen, I have the right to know what's going on or if they think it'll ever be done. I love living in Carl Junction, have no problems with it. I just want to be kept in the loop.
Where is the Steve?
Robert Lane and Hedge. Robert Lane and Hedge.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Understand, that's in our future plans.
You know, and I'd like to get with you, I got plenty of pictures of what it looks like, what's going on. You know, set a time up, I like to meet with the, you know, the alderman, with you, with the city manager, sit down and hash this out.
Yeah.
Okay?
Appreciate it, thank you. Next.
Hello, I'm Matt Berkowitz, 512 Walton Avenue. I just wanted to voice my support for the splash pad, and I thought you made a lot of really good points, and other people are experts on the revenue and potential impact of outsiders coming in. I just want to support it because I would like a fun place for my kids to go, and I think a lot of other parents would like that ability to not have to drive 20 or 30 minutes to something similar. Just to be able to walk our kids there in the summer would be just a really unique thing that our community could have. So however it is finalized, I just want to just voice that I hope the end goal of having that splash pad stays in place. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak in public forum? Yes.
Okay, I'm Charlie's wife, Elaine Brown. You said our problem is in the works. What are you planning to do?
Well, I guess we have to have an engineering study on it.
You see, that's what you told us last year too.
All right, okay, we don't have the money right now to do that, but we're hoping that we have the money next year to be able to fix that. It is a priority for us.
Okay. What about our yards sinking? Everybody's flooding. Everybody's yards are sinking. If you wanted to sell your house right now, you couldn't. There's mold, there's bugs. It is not healthy. Something needs to be done. And I'm tired of hearing year after year. So, what can we do? We feel like we got brushed off last year. When a few of you came out.
Yeah.
Nobody ever answered us, answered phone calls, never informed us of what was going on. And it doesn't appear to be any different right now.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak in public forum?
Mark Johnson, 201 Ballard Street. We seem to be going back and forth between the flood and the ball field. I agree. I think the splash pad would be something to do good. My problem with the whole process was we didn't know what was going on until it's done deal. And it's kind of sad because it seems like there's a lot of options that would have worked, could have worked better. We keep getting the response, well, that was looked into. Well, I'd like to see how that was looked into. How did you come to that decision? It's really sad to see us lose that ball field. I'm also an abutter to that. But my grandkids come down, I know they love to go use the splash pad. The 4-year-old gonna get tired after a little bit, wanna go on the slide, and go on swings, and play in the jungle gym. And the 12-year-old's gonna wanna play catch. And I don't know if any of you have got kids, got grandkids, you can't have splash pad up there on top of the hill and the playground at the bottom of the hill and keep track of it. It doesn't work. It's not convenient. It just doesn't make sense to me how it was done. And I'm just so disappointed. We didn't know anything about it until, oh, that's a done deal. You're too late. You need to get the word out, and you can't
How would you
say.
suggest we get the word out? How would you suggest we get the word out?
Well,
we have a
no
meet-
more than
we-
put a piece of paper on the door and hope people read it.
Well, how do you suggest we get the word out? We can't call you.
Well, you can put it on the website. I looked on the website tonight, I can't find the agenda or meetings minutes for this entire year. I think January. There was 2 meetings in January, have minutes and agenda. There's nothing else on that website for this year.
I know, and if you would have been here at the budget meeting, we're getting a new website that we can actually do stuff with and put on.
There's
It will be on
also
there.
a Facebook page called the Cow Junction Connection. And when we talk to people at the ball field, none of them know anything about this. I've gone on the website and some of the people are talking about it because we asked them, they had no idea. Their kids are playing in the ball field. They had no idea this was happening. One guy told us that he played in that field himself as a kid, and he was just devastated to just do away with it. And we had no idea. And it just seems like it didn't have to be this. It could be anything that's happening in Cow Junction. Nobody knows. It seems like if you're gonna represent the people of Cow Junction, you need to encourage some feedback from the people of Cow Junction.
You realize all the meetings are online on Facebook,
On YouTube.
on YouTube.
And there's a link on the Facebook page.
You want to talk again?
May I?
Sure.
Just, you asked how you can put it out there. In this particular case, why not post something at the park, a yellow sign, like we would have to do if we were gonna do something with properties differently, and post it out there so people say, what's that? And we go look at it and say, Carl Junction intends to do this, this, and this. Then we know,
Good idea.
that would help.
Good idea. Thank you. Anyone else like to speak at public forum?
You said you wanted people.
Last call for public forum. Very well, we'll close that public forum then. And we'll go. I wish to appoint Noah Whitehead as a new police officer. And I'm going to need a motion by the council.
I move that we approve the appointment of Noah as our police officer.
Just a little history. He's lived in the community for some time, had desired to work for us before several years ago. It didn't work out. He wound up having to move off further south. He's worked for Berry County Sheriff's Office. He's worked for the Cassville Police Department, which is where he's currently at now. He's also done some reserve for the Wheaton Police Department. I did the background on him, came back very well. So that's my recommendation is to hire him.
Thank you, Mark.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Donna Allen, second by Roger Spencer to approve my appointment of Noah Whitehead as a new police officer. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 5 in the affirmative, 3 absent. Will the clerk please administer the oath?
I, Noah Whitehead, do solemnly swear that I possess all the qualifications for the position of a police officer as prescribed by law, that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Missouri, the provisions of all laws of the state affecting cities of this class, and the ordinances of the city of Carl Junction, and faithfully commit myself in the office, so help me God.
Welcome. Welcome, Noah. Glad to have you on the force. Thank you very much. Next is a discussion declaring as worthless unpaid personal property taxes billed prior to 2011. You're going to start with this, aren't you? I didn't start. Steve, want to talk about it? Elena?
We went through after we did the delinquent list this year, because we send out taxes at least twice every year. So we went through and looked, we have unpaid taxes going back to 1996. A good portion of these have notes in there that these people are deceased, or for better than 20 years, we have not been able to get a hold of them. From 1996 to 2011, we have a little under $5,000 in delinquent taxes out there. It's a little less than 200. to send those twice a year if we are going to collect little of anything like that.
Very good point. So I guess we need a motion.
A motion and a vote to regard these as, what is the method?
Unpaid personal property taxes billed prior to 2011.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Donna Allen, second by Rick Flynn, to remove by declaring as worthless unpaid personal property taxes billed prior to 2011 and remove them from the tax rolls. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 5 in the affirmative, 3 absent. You may remove them. Next are ordinances. An ordinance approving a contract with Empire Electric for street lighting.
If you remember right, Mr. Mayor, this is our second reading.
I got
Is
it.
what it would be.
This is second reading.
Second reading.
I move we put this ordinance on second reading by title.
Second.
Motion by Donna Allen, second by Roger Spencer, to put this ordinance on second reading by title only. Will the clerk please read the title?
An ordinance authorizing and providing a contract between the city of Carl Junction, Missouri, hereinafter sometimes called the city, and the Empire District Electric Company, hereinafter sometimes called the company, its successors or assigns for electric service and equipment to light the city's streets, alleys, and public ways, electric service for light and power for the city's parks and other properties and public places for a term of years, and specifying the prices to be paid for such lighting and power service and the terms and conditions of such contract, and in consideration of company's covenants and obligation contained herein and company's acceptance of the terms and conditions contained herein, including but not limited to company's agreement to payment by the company of the license and occupation tax imposed upon company by ordinance number 738 of the city, as full payment by the company of any occupation tax, franchise tax, license tax, or any similar tax or charge imposed upon the company by the city, other than the license and occupation tax imposed upon the company by ordinance number 738 of the city, or any amendment thereof, for the establishment, operation, and maintenance of the company's facilities within the city, except providing further that nothing herein shall prohibit the city from lawfully collecting motor vehicle license fees and any ad valorem tax on the company's real estate and personal.
That was
Wow.
Is there any further discussion on this?
Could you repeat?
You off me. Did you bring your oxygen tank?
I move we put this ordinance on final passage.
Second. Motion by Donna Allen, second by Joe Gosey, to put this ordinance on final passage. It's a hand vote to go to electronic voting. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 5 in the affirmative, 3 absent, please vote electronically. 5 in the affirmative, 3 absent. The ordinance passes. That's ordinance number.
2215.
Thank you. Next is the administration report. Any comments for the city administrator? You want to say anything, Mr. City Administrator?
Answer any questions. Of course, I've got stuff for new and old business.
Of course.
Of course you do.
Man, I thought this was gonna be an easy one.
What would ever do that again?
Okay, we're gonna move on then. Go to the treasurer's report. We have a balance sheet in the packet. Any comments about the treasurer's report?
No, but I did like to see the balances. That was good. I like that.
Very well then, we'll move on to department reports. Let's see, do we have a building inspector's deal? That was last time, wasn't it? All right, then we'll go to PD. Mark's got a deal in here. Any questions for the chief?
Did some good undercover work, recovering some stolen tools.
Anything else about the vicious dog things?
Which one?
Well,
We've had several over the past couple of weeks.
I heard there's about 15 of them.
I haven't heard that many, but we've got all the owners identified. There's at least 2 of them that are out of town already. ones at the Humane Society in quarantine. Dave's keeping on top of it.
Anything else for Chief? Jay isn't here, and we don't have a public works sheet, so
No,
I know he's
Public
been
Works
busy.
has been extremely busy, of course, with the water
with the water.
and with mowing. Lately, we did get a resident called and gave Jay kudos for the shape that they have the disc golf course in right now. So they were very appreciative of that from Jay.
Anything, any comments? Okay, then, very good. Then we'll go on with committee reports. Budget and Finance, Donna.
Well, we met at 6 o'clock, discussed a couple things. First, we had a pretty lengthy discussion with the chamber. We don't have anything we can formally put in front of you. They had sent over a proposal for $15,000. I went back and told them that we only had $10,000 budgeted, but they wanted to speak and we went back and forth on a couple things. They are going to be putting in a written proposal that we need to get on the agenda for next meeting to consider an ordinance for a contract for $10,000 for the marketing and promotion. And like I said, we don't have the formal in front of you, but you can expect to come through with the Bluegrass Festival, 3 Second Tuesdays, trunk or treat. They're also said they would still do spring and fall citywide promoting it. There's also an item on there that's Project Carl Junction, I believe is what it is. And I told them I really don't want to see it part of the contract because it is a benevolent function and it is a day of service, which I consider that more of a charity kind of benevolence thing I don't think we need. But they initially came from 15,000. We told them they could go ahead and take that off. They're going to come down to 10 to fit the budget amount, and they will present a proposal next week. But the committee did vote on it, and there were 3 members here, and it was unanimous that we recommend entering into contract renewing it for $10,000 at the next meeting. Other than that, we discussed options for changing the website because we know the website is an issue. We do have one option that will fall under the amount we budgeted. We're waiting on a couple more proposals to come in, but it sounds like we have at least one option for a much better website that we can maintain in-house and maybe even have an app that people can use on their phone. So that's it for the budget committee, except since we did the approval, we don't even need to meet in advance next meeting.
Nope.
Okay, so we're good, but I would like that put on the agenda and if we can have an ordinance drawn up so that people can consider it and pass it.
I'll get a contract over.
Just one thing about the website, we had mentioned that we have the ability to post things on there instantly, and so that may answer some of your guys' questions is the fact that we could post, hey, this is going on, or if we're at an event, we can take pictures and those pictures could be posted immediately, is my understanding. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Anything else for budget? Very well. Code and nuisance, Rick.
No, sir.
Human resources, Roger.
Nothing.
Public facilities, Mike isn't here. Gozi, you got anything?
No, sir.
And senior citizens, we don't have anybody here. Senior citizens, Delana.
Oh. Oh. It would have been much easier to say me.
Anything?
I wasn't a senior citizen when I got here.
Anything on senior citizens? Very well then. We'll move right along. We'll go for unfinished business. Jim?
No, sir.
LaDonna?
I'm sure I have some, but not at this point, no.
I just got a couple questions. Any news on Lakeside Park Grant?
Yeah.
How about
They
the,
postponed or canceled whatever the training that we were supposed to have on grant management.
Last week.
anything about the bid back on redoing the field at Country Club Park for soccer?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay. That's all I have. Roger?
Nothing.
was looking for the email, but I can't find it. I'd spoken to you a couple weeks ago about that drainage thing between the two homes at the bottom of the hill. I can't remember the street off the top of my head. We were going to talk to engineering about it. Has that been set up? Or is that
Yes, I did talk to, when I talked to you, I said I'd get engineering out there. I did talk to them. Several significant issues with that is the fact that there is 3 drainage pipes all dumping into that same one from different directions. There's also a sewer line and a water line going through there. Creatively thinking, and right off the top of the bat, the only thing that we could do would be put a fence around it. And then hopefully that doesn't ever come out of that. The water doesn't tear up the fencing. But it would keep the kids. It will be unsightly. It will not look good. I mean, it's just going to be chain link fence around a hole in the ground that has stormwater in it.
And again, I can't find the email, but she had said that she would be willing to put in a fence, but it's in the front yard and that's against code or something like that. So.
Yeah, it's a 4 foot is all that is allowed in there, so that's all that we would be allowed to put around that also. And so you're looking at, off the top of my head, you're looking at about a 15-foot square of fence that could go up around it. And then you're going to have if it lays right, we might have to put some dirt in there too, but hopefully nothing could get underneath the fence, but there is that possibility that something could. That is about the only thing that we could do to that. That might alleviate her problems, and so if you want to get back with her and let her know.
Either we do a chain link fence, or is that something we would vote on and let them do a privacy kind of something nicer?
Well, their privacy fence,
It has to be short.
It can be 4 foot high.
It can be 4 foot.
4 foot high.
yeah, it can be 4 foot high, but you have to be able to see in it for maintenance, for that type of thing. You got to be able to see in it. That's why chain link. You don't want to put a privacy fence around it, because the guys have to see in there. If there's debris in there, they need to be able to get in there and dig it out.
That was just her suggestion. I didn't
Yeah.
want to be able to answer.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Anything else?
No, I'm finished now.
Bob?
Nothing.
Mr. Chow?
No.
Elena?
No, sir.
Crystal?
No, sir.
Steve?
On unfinished, I signed off on some more FEMA documents for the tornado reimbursement from May of 2019, so 3 years later, and I'm still signing things for it. That is the only thing on unfinished.
Mark? Yes.
Do we still have funds coming from,
Yes, we do. It's close to 200,000, if I remember right. I think it was like 193,000 or something like that they still owe us the fence to.
sign fast?
I did, when I got the email, it was within an hour of my electronic signature.
There you go. Be nice if we can get that money in.
Done.
That's all. Sorry.
Okay, go to new business. Bob?
None.
Rick?
Just a question I'd asked Steve about as far as the alley behind, what is that, the Vogue Boutique and that street. They had called me today and actually sent a picture. They were supposed to email me some, but I was looking at it and see it. They're just some
Can I cover that under new business? That'd be okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Then I'm done.
Right.
Nothing.
I have nothing. Donna?
Nothing.
Jim? Mr. Chow?
Steve, you're going to cover the letter from sewage backup letter that we.
It was in my report.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. No.
Thank you. Elena? Crystal?
Yes.
Steve?
Okay, start off with a couple of things. First is at the public facilities meeting, they wanted to get, the public facilities wanted to get a concept and some ideas from the architect about this building. They would like to meet with Public Facilities on June 13th, the week of June 13th. I did talk to Mr. Burns, and he's available anytime in the afternoon of that week. So if that Tuesday works for everybody, that would be the 14th. If that works for Public Facilities, I'll get that meeting scheduled. She wants to meet with you guys and get some ideas, get your input on it before they start putting anything together.
Is that SAP?
Yes. Reminder, MML is coming up in September. Registration is now open. It is September 11th through 14th. If you're going to attend or think you're going to attend, let us know. We need to get that booked quickly because rooms, it is at Margaritaville, used to be Tantera.
What about the one in Aurora? The regional, you get a deal on that?
That was the one you guys went to last
To
week.
Republic.
No,
We went to Republic.
no, that was the legal thing, and this is MML. There's a meeting in Aurora.
I don't know if I did. I don't either.
Okay,
I'd have to forward that one to us.
yeah, we have to
In
pull up on their website. I can't remember the date it's on. It's like first part of June, I think.
Okay. So if you, September 11th through 14th, look at your calendars and please, if you can, let us know this week so we can get everybody registered and rooms reserved.
Put me down. Okay.
The old Tantera Margaritaville is what they call it now. Good news is Crystal and I set in on a webinar with Department of Natural Resources. The state received $2.685 billion from ARPA funds. And with that, DNR is getting $410 million in it. They have separated it out into 4 different categories. Water systems, $125 million. Sewer systems, $125 million. Stormwater, $150 million. And then there's also a lead water line survey that they're putting $10 million into, which doesn't affect us. The max grant is $5 million, which puts us well on the way to which we just had the engineers complete, our water service line replacement and upgrading. So Algier Martin is working on that one. Those grant applications actually opened up yesterday and they close in June. It's a very quick process. Several things that the feds did on it. They removed the requirement for Davis-Bacon, which is the federal prevailing wage law. They've taken, they call it a NEPA, which is the environmental. You don't have to do an environmental on it. And they've also removed the Buy America requirement. So 3 pretty big requirements that they've taken off of it. For the water and the sewer and the stormwater, or for the water and sewer, eligible products or projects they are using the state revolving fund listing. So if it is a SRF eligible product, it is a ARPA eligible product, which makes it really nice because you don't have to come up with anything special on it. The stormwater is MS4 infrastructure. MS4 is the designation that we get from the EPA. So we actually have product for the water system, and we have, as you know, we have lots of needs on the stormwater side. The stormwater side, you can put in multiple applications. So the products that they're looking at right now is the Hedge and Brybrook Lane. They are looking at the Quail's Nest. They are looking at the alley here on Main Street behind those businesses there that floods all the time too. Those are the three main ones. As you know, especially with stormwater, our stormwater budget is so small because we have to split that with the Parks Department. The way the state has that sales tax is it is labeled parks and stormwater. So it gets split, and so we end up with maybe $70,000 or $75,000 a year is about all that we gain. So it takes us a long time to be able to get enough funds to do that. We know initially that just the drainage on the backside of West Broderick Lane is a minimum of $300,000 to do that project. We know that with the water, with that water study, there was $7.2 million worth of projects in there that we could do. So this could go a long ways to improving and taking care of some very, very much needed items. So Algier's working on all of that stuff. Every one of these that you send in, you have to have an engineering report with it, or you have to have engineering completed on it, because in federal terms, they want shovel-ready products as much as they can. The Center Creek Bank Stabilization Project, we're too far along into that project to be able to use it for this because it's out for bid right now. If we were not out for bid, we could probably put that one in there too. And as you can imagine, it is going to be highly competitive. These are competitive grants with every city in the state that is a non-entitlement unit, which is cities below 50,000. Scoring, because we have so much of the engineering already done, we get extra points for that. If you don't actually have the scoring or the engineering done, they give you 90 days to get that engineering into them. So it is really quick that they want these. Did they say when they were going to hand the money out? I don't think they did. I don't think they ever said when they would score them and actually hand the money out. But it's really good news, though. Really
Very good news.
This is not the same amount of money or the same pot of money that will be coming out later this year in the infrastructure grant or infrastructure program that the president signed earlier in the year. These are two whole separate pots of money. There will be, and that one is that one $1 trillion or something? That's what the president put into it.
1.6.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge amount of projects that are going to be going on for the next 4 years, probably.
Will the infrastructure, will it funnel through the state also?
Yes, it will. And that will go through the SRF system more than likely for that. I think that's it.
Is that all?
I think so. That was a big deal. Really excited about
So I'm sure you guys are glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could go a long way to solve some of the problems maybe addressed tonight.
Oh, absolutely it will.
Exactly. Gonna say something?
I may not understand what's going on here, but the finances that Steve's talking about that's needed to take care of the water and the sewage and stuff, ARPA money would take care of that. Our splash pad, make it smaller, use 400,000.
Okay, that's fine. That's good. Mark, you have any new business? Is there other business for the council?
I have a question.
I'm sorry, but no. I'll talk to you afterwards if you'd like to talk to me.
Well, I'm just curious, if you cannot fix the drainage between our two houses and all the debris runs down, and you've seen it, you've been there, at the end of that drainage, whatever you want to call it, into the creek behind us, if somebody could come and just backhoe a box it is gonna back flood. It is dammed up. And our owner is right here if you have a problem with it. We just need somebody to shovel out all those rocks and reopen it. I don't feel that's asking a whole heck of a lot.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's private property.
And she's sitting right here.
Yeah, that's, the city doesn't work on private property.
Well, that's
Well,
the
see,
thing,
we were told that the city was supposed to do that.
we were told we had to have the owner's permission, and here she sits. The city is the one that put that drain in.
Well, we were told.
Well,
Every council.
We have a motion on the
everybody
floor.
gives a different story.
motion by Roger Spencer, second by LaDon Allen. We adjourn. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 5 in the affirmative, with 3 absent, we are adjourned.